Alrighty, guys. Good morning. Good morning to you. We have a few things to discuss here. I'm Ryan alongside Joel,
Good morning, everybody.
Michigan Storm Chasers here. So we have a few things to discuss. We have a severe risk in place for both today, but also tomorrow as well. It's going to be a busy but uncertain forecast period. Go ahead and start with what we do know. The SPC has placed portions of southeast Michigan in a level 2 slight risk. They're in yellow. Places around that slight risk are in a marginal from Grand Rapids over to about Port Huron and point southward. But Lenawee, Monroe, Hillsdale, Jackson, Washtenaw, and perhaps parts of Wayne County in that slight risk. Zooming into that, there's a little bit of a zoomed in look for you guys. So Monroe, Adrian, Jackson, Hillsdale, all well within that slight risk. Now remember, it's a 25-mile point, so if you're around that slight risk, consider yourself in it. So like Ann Arbor, perhaps Detroit as well, Coldwater, those places. Okay, that's going to be the highest concern today for better coverage of oncoming storms. Hazards for today, number one, primary concern, damaging winds. 15% slight risk there in southeast Michigan, so 15 to 29% risk of damaging winds within that region. But around that, we do have the marginal risk, so 5 to 14% chance of damaging winds there in that brownish red color from Grand Rapids to Port Huron point southward. Looking at the hail risk today, it is just a 5%, as we call it, across much of the state from Grand Rapids to Port Huron and south. There's no 15% risk of hail. As far as tornadoes go, SPC does not have any risk for a tornado in the state. We do think there's a small chance we could get one or two perhaps in southeast Michigan, but we're going to dive into that a little bit later on. But right now, currently no risk from SPC for anything tornadic. Looking at tomorrow's outlook, though, southern Michigan is in a marginal risk for Tuesday. This outlook begins at 8 a.m., and that's going to be important because we're going to communicate this a little bit later on. But notice the time frame here. The Monday outlook ends at 8 a.m. Tuesday morning. Then this outlook takes effect. All right. So with that being said, models today have been everywhere. They're not consistent. So we're going to do the best we possibly can to communicate time frames and expectations here. So round one, we can call it round one currently moving through the state. I don't have radar pulled up to show you guys, but we have a line of showers and storms that stretches from basically Owasso, Lansing area, down south into Jackson, down south into Adrian and Hillsdale. That's going to move slowly eastward. Severe weather with this first round. We had one warning this morning, and then that was all. It does not appear to be strengthening, so this should just be some quick passing, not really quick, but passing rain showers here next couple hours for you guys on the east side toward, we're going to say anywhere from Flint and point southward toward Detroit and Monroe. So expect some rain, perhaps a rumble of thunder with those as they move through. Severe weather is not expected with this first initial round. Second round, then attention focuses on 4 p.m. and after. We're going to look for our atmosphere to recover after this morning round comes through. And that's also important because cloud cover out there right now does not look too impressive, or should I say, does not look to be destabilizing just yet, so to speak. We're looking for the sun to come out to heat the surface and get our instability up. But we're seeing clearing out to the west here in parts of Illinois, perhaps even western Michigan here. The sun is going to be out. So we're going to destabilize here after this morning showers and storms move through. That's the expectation. That destabilization will also lead to storm fuel, and that's what the concern comes in later on. We have a short wave and a low pressure system combining. That's going to be the trigger to get storms up and going. Let's go ahead and take a focus here on the afternoon. So here's the NAM3 model. I'm using the NAM3 today because I do think it has a bit better handle on potential for as far as coverage goes. But after all, we go through all this morning shower and storm in the afternoon, moves out of the state. We're drying out for a few hours. And then we get to 4 or 5 p.m. We have storms popping up there across portions of eastern, southeastern, lower Michigan. This model has it mostly out of the state into Ontario and Ohio. And that could happen, honestly. That really could happen. I do think there is potential for better coverage, though, especially in that slight risk area where we just talked about there from Jackson to Ann Arbor and point southward. Okay. Right now, models do show it out of the state, but that's not the only round to worry about. Even if we stay dry, look out this afternoon, which is a possibility, attention then turns overnight. Where'd Joel go? Attention then turns to go overnight into the Wisconsin area for the next round coming through. This is going to be after midnight for us. This is at this point in time, 1 a.m. We're going to look for storms to cross Lake Michigan, arrive in Michigan here roughly around 3 to 4 in the morning. Those will track east-southeastward, and as they do, damaging winds and large hail will become concerns with any storm that can manage to survive the lake. And especially as we get toward that sunrise tomorrow morning, this is why it's important here. We are looking at the potential for redevelopment and reintensification with anything that comes through tomorrow morning. So Tuesday's outlook here, starting at 8 a.m., is going to have a chance for reintensification as we get toward sunrise, toward noon. The NAM 3 model picks up on it. This is tomorrow, early afternoon, seeing that reintensification of these storms across the 94 corridor. That's going to be the main concern for tomorrow. So anytime between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. today, particularly southeast Michigan, there's a chance for severe. And then overnight into Tuesday morning, perhaps Tuesday afternoon, that second round comes in, potentially of greater magnitude for most of us here in that risk area in South Central Lower Michigan. The other model that we use, HRRR, is showing a similar picture overall to that. Taking a zoom back in here, looking at the overall synopsis, those morning showers work out of the state. Attention then turns back to this afternoon. We have some showers developing from Flint to Port Huron, perhaps Detroit area. This model says not too much of a concern this afternoon. Attention turns back to the west. There's our development in Wisconsin at midnight tonight, crosses the lake. Here's 1, here's 2 in the morning. Those will have severe potential. And then that second round comes in a little bit later on, a little bit like a bow echo type of look here, potentially overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, and then that will develop and form into a organized line as it gets into the afternoon hours on Tuesday, hopefully out of the state, but potential is there for it to linger in the southern portions of the state, which is why you have that marginal risk in effect for Tuesday. So multiple rounds here, main timeframes, again, for Southeast Michigan, primarily 4 p.m. today through 10 p.m. tonight, and then we have a break, and then attention turns later on, 2 a.m. to probably noon, perhaps a bit afternoon into Tuesday. Okay. Hazards, damaging winds. Number 1, large hail. Number 2, anything tornadic should be tied primarily to that slight risk area if storms can develop this afternoon. That's really highly conditional and dependent on storms developing. There is definitely potential here for storms to completely miss our state this afternoon into Ontario and Ohio. That's best case scenario. The worst case scenario, storms fire up from Flint all the way down toward Coldwater, Adrian. They push eastward, and at that point we have a severe threat. So a lot of uncertainty here, but potential is there. Communicating that to you guys, making sure you're aware. Elsewhere this afternoon, I am not going to rule out a pop-up storm across like Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Lansing. Not going to rule out a pop-up storm. It shouldn't be too big of a deal, but the environment is marginally favorable for severe across the western portions. That region is in the marginal risk for overnight tonight. In fact, we zoom out, we can see that slight risk here across Wisconsin, Illinois, back through Iowa, Minnesota. That's where they expect storms to fire up tonight. And those are going to track southeastward. So kind of 2 areas here SPC is highlighting. The first one there, of course, we just mentioned across Wisconsin area, and then also that slight risk here in southeast Michigan and parts of Ohio for that afternoon risk today. So 2 rounds potentially. We'll cover it all here, and we'll keep you guys updated as best as possible. It's very fluid, very confusing for some. I get it. We'll do our best to communicate that to you guys, though. With that being said, that is all I have as far as the briefing goes. So if you guys got questions, feel free. Next SPC update is at 12:30 p.m., so about an hour, 15 minutes. If they make any changes, it'll be at that outlook.
Some places today have already seen a lot of rain too, so could see a little bit of a flooding threat overnight tonight as well. Grand Rapids released local storm report. Big winner right now is Grand Junction, Van Buren County, 1.65 inches of rain so far today.
Yes. So on top of that, I don't have it pulled up, but there is a flooding risk via the Weather Prediction Center. So different from SPC, it's called WPC. They have portions of Michigan in a slight risk for excessive rainfall. I'll bring it in here in a second, but just want to show you guys radar here real quick as these storms move through central part of the south central parts of the state. They are weakening, but there is some lightning, especially in Jackson County here, Lansing as well, near Hamburg as well. Some lightning and some heavy rain there. So that's going to move eastward, and then clearing is happening out behind it. We're going to destabilize. That could fuel storms later on. As far as the Weather Prediction Center goes, the outlook for that, I'll bring it in here real quick. I failed. There we go. So this is similar to SPC outlook. It's just for rainfall. So marginal and slight risks in effect for excessive rainfall. It's a risk of 1 to 6 hour rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance at a certain point. So basically all that means is we're expecting some heavy rainfall across much of the state today, where storms can train over the exact same areas. We could get some flash flooding ongoing. So pay attention, especially if you have your commutes, routes, low-lying areas. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're navigating just to avoid any of road closures or anything like that that may develop through the afternoon. But primarily the rain, most of the rain is going to happen overnight tonight into Tuesday morning. So just keep that in mind. Today should be okay for the most of us. Most of us, as terms of flooding, that risk will increase into overnight into Tuesday morning.
A couple questions here. Do you think Detroit will have hard rain in a few? And photographer here at Junior League World Series, Taylor, how bad are we about to get hit? Yes, you guys are going to get a good downpour here for a little bit, probably in the next half hour.
So yeah, we do have a sponsor, Jacqueline. It's Cat's Roofing. It is, or they are based out of Lansing and Battle Creek. Number will be on your screen. There you go. Thank you, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they cover South Central Michigan. Feel free to check them out if you have roofing, siding, gutter, window needs on your home. They are a sponsor. They do great work, great people working for them. So give them a shout.
Yes, the satellite, what you see there, gravity waves on satellite view, for those who are wondering.
Yep. I was going to mention that earlier, but I can pop that in back here real quick.
What's it called? The GWAC? GWAC?
Check that out. It's not every day you see that. That little N-shaped hill over Michigan. Very, very cool. Any questions, guys?
If I had to guess, spot activation is probably going to be needed for all of southern Michigan through tonight. Imagine Grand Rapids has put out a statement. It should be West Michigan. There's a lot of questions coming here, Ryan, about certain locations.
Okay, give me a second.
Mm-hmm. Good example of weather apps probably going to be wrong. Weather app says Detroit will only get about 0.06 inches of rain in the next 3 hours. Again, with that heavy shower moving into Detroit, it would probably be more than that. Again, weather apps are not so great with precipitation, and especially severe weather. So anywhere in that the WPC risk, slight risk, usually you're gonna see about 2 to 4 inches of rain on average.
As far as specific locations go, Southeast Michigan today has better chances of higher storm coverage. So what that means basically is we expect more storms to fire up near the Ohio border areas. Anywhere else in today's risk does have chances of pop-up storms, and we can't get specific with locations. So if you're asking for locations for today, it's going to be kind of hard to pinpoint that. But if you live in, say, Monroe, Adrian, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Hillsdale areas, you have the best chance of seeing a storm today. Joel, I have a phone call I got to take.
Okay. Yep. Good question about spotter activation there. So those who have taken a spotter network course or a spotter training through like the National Weather Service classes, they usually send out a statement for you guys. So muggy conditions will, the muggy conditions will be good after today and tomorrow. We're supposed to be in the low to mid 70s the rest of the week after tomorrow. So yeah, Skywarn training. Yep. Spotter networks, the dots that you see on your radar every once in a while. Any severe wind gusts today? Well, the criteria for severe is going to be 60-mile-per-hour winds. We're not expecting anything too incredible, at least today. If they were going to have more confidence, they would probably bring that slight risk over into Western Michigan as well, but they don't have that currently in effect. So again, it's all probability. So anywhere you see that marginal risk, it's going to be a 5% chance of damaging winds. And anywhere in that yellow slight risk is going to be your 15% chance of damaging winds. And then it also changes for hail and tornadoes as well, which right now there's no tornado risk currently in Michigan. Again, update coming at 12:30 from the SBC, but it will probably be offline by then. So we'll post it on the page as needed. But currently right now the tornado threat is off to our west across the lake. I've had 2 early days in a row. It's a record for me. So hopefully I can stay up late tonight. We'll see. Spotter activation usually means more active weather for sure. Yep.
Sorry, I'm back.
Very good. Just going to answer your question.
How's the sleep schedule? Matthew asks. No, we'll be up all night probably. I'm going to assume.
Mm-hmm. So we should have a little bit of a break, as Ryan mentioned, here for the next hour. Watch closely after that 3 to 4 o'clock time frame for Southeast Michigan. Remember that slight marginal's at.
Nothing severe as of right now, so you're all clear. Just some rain and likely some thunder out there. So the heaviest showers right now are going to be on the Shiawassee and Livingston County border. Also, heaviest shower in northeastern Washtenaw moving into northwestern Wayne.
Could probably go over the radar loop again. It'd probably help since everyone's asking about locations and stuff for tonight. So make sure everyone pays attention to the map here. Know where you guys are located.
Talking about future radar, right?
Yep.
Okay. So We're going to use the NAM3. I don't really think either model has a 100% handle on things, so just take it with a grain of salt. So looking at the futurecast here, so this morning's showers, there they are. They come on shore, they cross, more stuff forms. Pretty good handle on what happened this morning via NAM. Afternoon, storms develop close to Michigan, off into Ontario. A few showers there popping up across Flint, Detroit, Monroe areas. That's going to be the general consensus there. They really start to blow up just outside of Michigan. We'll see if that's the case, or I do think there's a chance they blow up further west into Michigan, hence the slight risk. But overall, notice how the majority of us stays dry this afternoon, like Kalamazoo, Lansing, Grand Rapids. You guys are all dry. As we get to tonight, attention turns to the west. This is at 10 p.m. according to this model. Here's midnight. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice two things here. Here's your big blob of rain. That's going to be your flooding risk coming in overnight. But also on the south end of that would be anything severe. That would be where I'm tired. That would be where anything severe would form. It would be on the south side of this big blob of rain. That'll push east-southeastward, reaching Michigan roughly probably close to 4 or 5 in the morning, perhaps earlier. But overall, that's going to be your overall risk, probably close to 4 or 5 a.m. into sunrise, and perhaps lingering into Tuesday morning past 8 a.m. toward that noon time frame.
That's even late afternoon.
Yeah, NAM3 has that bias for a few hours to be late, though, so just kind of bump it back 2 or 3. So like just early afternoon.
So storm coverage ideally is going to be probably the greatest overnight tonight. This afternoon, it's going to be more scattered in nature. So not everyone this afternoon is probably going to get a storm, but you're going to go over the overnight time period, especially with that slight risk and effect for the rainfall. You're going to have pretty much the entire lower Michigan is going to see rain at the very least, and then storms embedded within the lines.
Here's your rainfall for what it's worth. Widespread, we're probably going to say an inch or so plus for some of you guys. Yeah, I'm seeing anything from like 0.7 to 4 inches in spots. Maybe if we can escape this morning, we have a 3-4 hour nap window, Joel. We can take a nap.
Honestly, as you know, I'm not a morning person, but I got up and started driving at like 9 a.m. It was crazy. People in the comments are like, what? 9 a.m.? That's late. But the sun is definitely coming back. It's been out ever since I got back from chasing Ryan here in Ionia County. So,
okay, let's take a peek at Mezzo behind the scenes and see what's happening.
Ooh, question here, probably more for you, Ryan. Is there a specific model outdoor weather station you recommend for the home?
I don't think you can go wrong with a lot of what's on the market. For me personally, and again, not sponsored, I found and had great success with the Ambient WS2902. I will put that in chat for you guys. It's about $200 on Amazon. I think this is the one. I'm gonna double check before I put this real quick. Yeah. Yeah, Davis is also another good brand if you want to spend some more money. Davis Vantage Pro, that's a really good one. Ambient's a good balance between reliability and also cost. That's what I have here at my house. So,
yeah. Storm chasing wise, tomorrow it might be a sit and wait sort of day. So I'll comment about that in here. Let's find
a lot's going to depend on. a lot of tomorrow's risk is going to depend on how tonight plays out. If it slows down, we could be looking at a risk tomorrow early afternoon. But if it speeds up or continues on its pace, it'll probably be out of here by noon. So the quicker it gets out, I think the better off we're going to be, because the longer we wait, the more instability we build with daytime heating and stuff like that. So the quicker it gets out of here, the better. After Tuesday, it's going to be raining for a lot of us. If you're north, it should be dry, but if you're south, you're raining a lot. But by Wednesday, much more pleasant weather is incoming, a little bit cooler and less humid. And that will last into the weekend. Storms are just starting up the Mid Township. That lines up with radar. We got that line moving through. Mentioned it, northeastern Washtenaw, northwestern Wayne. So that makes some sense. You can send us pics into our Facebook Messenger. You can absolutely do that.
Yep, I made it back. I'm currently on my hotspot right now. My Wi-Fi went. I don't know if you noticed that, Ryan. In the middle
You
of
just
the
like
stream.
vanished. I was like,
Yep.
I double took. I'm like, where'd Joel go?
Yeah.
You pulled an Alex and went Houdini.
Yep. You can also send those through our link tree. It's a good point, Dawn. The storm picks.
Any other questions, guys?
Nothing severe right now. Nope. You'll know if it's severe if the top banner is orange
Or red.
or red for tornado warning. Yep.
Or pink.
Or that, yeah. Right where it
We
says
see blue.
Right where it says like and subscribe, that's where our warning, our highest warning goes in. So just always look at the top of our page. Good rule of thumb. But also, since I had mentioned it, like and subscribe.
We are closing in very quickly on 20,000 YouTube subscribers. We are about 346 away.
Yeah. If you want to subscribe on YouTube, just make an account, follow us over there. It's like the equivalent of a Facebook follow.
Also, a lot of stuff gets posted to YouTube in terms of video content that doesn't get posted to Facebook. So we try to do daily updates as far as forecasts go. So there are perks to following on both platforms.
Like and subscribe is the worst weather warning. Yes.
Yes, we will be live if anything severe happens today or overnight tonight. We sacrifice our sleep schedules for you guys, so we do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're always going to be here. If you don't see us live, that's a good thing. Well, Joel, want to pop out of here and grab a nap?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. There doesn't seem to be any more questions here. Again, pretty much gone over everything. So don't know if you want to do it one more time, but
I can go over everything real quick, recap. So just quickly, we have some showers working through the state right now, some storms as well out there. Nothing severe is expected out of those. We'll watch regardless, so we'll update you if that changes. But right now, nothing looks even close to becoming severe. So once that moves out, we're going to clear out, destabilize behind it. The sun will come out likely for most of us. And then we're going to be looking at a severe threat primarily in southeast Michigan, where you see that yellow region there. So places like Hillsdale, Jackson, Adrian, Ann Arbor, Monroe. You guys would have the highest concern today, this afternoon, for severe weather in terms of coverage. Models don't really show too much happening today across much of the state, but they do fire storms very close to the Ohio and also Canadian border. If I can get a zoomed in look here, I clicked the wrong thing, of course. There we go. So there's your storms developing here by about 4 p.m. out there in southeast Michigan. Those are going to push east-southeastward. So if they form a little bit further west, we become more concerned. But if they form off to our east, we may stay dry today for the most part. But the environment, if storms do pop up, is going to be favorable for damaging winds and large hail. Also wouldn't rule out a brief tornado, especially close to Lake Erie there, Monroe, Lenawee, Wayne, and Washtenaw counties. Okay. Second round comes in tonight. Attention turns to the west in Wisconsin. Incoming shortwave, low pressure system works its way through. Heavy rain threat as well with this big old blob, the Bob, as Joel calls it. It's going to work through. That's going to be a flooding risk overnight into Tuesday morning. On the south side of that blob, we're going to be looking at a severe threat potentially if storms can get going. Those are going to ride across Lake Michigan and arrive into our state by roughly 4 or 5-ish a.m. And that risk will continue through the morning hours of Tuesday, potentially going as late as Tuesday afternoon. But at that point, it becomes more so uncertainty as to how it evolves and so on and so forth. So if it starts to look, it's going to be a later threat, we're going to obviously shift our wording. But right now, expect severe risks 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. today, primarily for southeast Michigan. Then overnight tonight from roughly 2, 3 a.m. up until, we're going to say, noon Tuesday afternoon. All right. With that being said, that's your recap as well. One more thing, flash flooding, also a possibility today. A slight risk and effect for that, primarily for south and western portions of lower Michigan. But there is a chance all the way up toward the thumb into Mount Pleasant, Houghton Lake areas, as well as Traverse City. All right. That about does it. So we'll be live again if things go severe. I may actually chase if Joel has the stream. It's going to be close to my house. So I may actually go out and chase today. I'm excited for that. I'm crossing my fingers for a good storm. Obviously don't want to see severe weather, but haven't been out in a while chasing. So I'm looking forward to getting out there if the opportunity arises. But overall, we'll have you guys covered. Stay tuned to the page for updates. See you guys likely sometime between now and tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. Have a good day, everyone. See you soon.